Then one foggy Christmas Eve, Santa came to say. I was doing some grocery shopping the other day, and that song was being sung by Burl Ives throughout the store. The song about Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. When I was a kid, I loved that story about the reindeer whose nose glowed brightly. Because of that, he was made fun of for a long time until that gloomy, dark Christmas Eve, when, in order to save Christmas, they needed Rudolph's light to shine in the darkness. When I was a kid, I thought it was a great cartoon story. But the older I get, the more I realize that if you read the Christmas stories in the Gospel, have you ever noticed how much of the Christmas story happens at night, when it's dark, when it's gloomy? The shepherds are keeping watch at night. The Magi are making their way to Bethlehem at night, guided by what? A star. The glory of the Lord shone around the shepherds at night. They visited Mary and Joseph and Jesus in Bethlehem in the darkness of night. The Christmas story is about people who are living in gloom and darkness. And what happens? God's light breaks through. God's light shines in the darkness. God's light leads us to hope. In the Gospel of John, we're told that Jesus is the light of the world. And it's the coming of that light that we celebrate at Christmas. And let's be honest, don't we need the light of God right now, perhaps more than ever? 2020 has felt like a gloomy year for many of us, hasn't it? There was the divisiveness of the election, the reality of racial tensions and injustice, and dare I mention, COVID? People have lost jobs, business owners are struggling to make ends meet. Many of us feel isolated and alone. It feels kind of dark in December of 2020. But we are people of faith, preparing to celebrate the great feast of Christmas, the great feast that reminds us year after year and day after day that Jesus is the light of the world, and he shines precisely when it feels darkest. The light of Christ always finds a way to lead us home and lead us to hope. And isn't that what we celebrate in Advent? Think about the Advent wreath that you may have at your table or the Advent wreath that you see at church. As the amount of sunlight lessens and lessens through the month of December, what do? We keep lighting more and more candles. Because as Christians, we believe that when it feels darkest in our world, the light of Christ breaks through and reveals God's love to us. During these weeks of Advent, I encourage you to participate in all of the activities here at St. Mary's Church, which are designed to help us to be in touch with the light of Christ and the presence of Christ, even when things feel gloomy. Join us here at church for daily Mass throughout the week or for weekend Masses. Join us as we celebrate the Sacrament of Reconciliation. On December 8th, we have a holy day of obligation, where Mass will take place in the morning and in the evening. On upcoming Tuesdays in December, we celebrate evening prayer in the style of Taizé. On Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, we will celebrate a number of Masses here at St. Mary's. For all of these public celebrations of the Eucharist, we ask you to pre-register on the parish webpage so that we may know how many of you will be joining us in person. And of course, if you're not able to join us in person for any of these celebrations of the sacraments, you can always join us online. Every day we send you an email with a link to a reflection or a video of Mass so that you can pray with us at home. And in addition to these celebrations of the liturgy, we will have Advent prayer experiences, Bible study programs, discussion groups, and Zoom book discussions. All of these will be available online on your computer so that throughout the month of December, you can be in touch with the fact that Christ's light is shining in your life. And of course, during this time, we seek to reflect the light of Christ in the lives of our neighbors who are in need. So go to our parish webpage and find out how you can participate in the Advent Giving Tree so that we can bless the lives of others through our generosity this Christmas. Rudolph's light shone in the darkness and saved Christmas that year. The light of Christ shines in the darkness every year, every day, every minute. Participate with us in the celebration of Advent so that we can all rejoice in the light of Christ this Christmas.